Well, first of all, how many minutes do I have, Thereza? Sorry, I couldn't hear. 12. Okay, just to have an idea how to time my talk. Well, thanks again. Thank you so much, Thereza, for inviting me for this this very interesting discussion. And what I'm going to show you is a very preliminary approach to the problem in a smaller scale, as Vinicius said, in a smaller scale concerning specifically Brasilia. And we are dealing basically with the relationship. My interest was to connect, to relate COVID and socio-spatial segregation issues. Okay. Now, to have a very quick and brief glimpse of the city. First, Brasilia is very sparse. It's a very low density city, and it relates more to the American situation and reality than to European, not least Asian situations. Secondly, it is by international comparative studies, it's the second most dispersed city in the world. So, as Vinicius was saying, demonizing the city really is not the case, because Brasilia is the anti-city, if I may say so. Okay, as we compare this to other Brazilian cities, Brasilia extremely not only low density but dispersed city. Two things that are not the same, are quite different situations. Now, here you have a very clear picture. It comes from a PhD thesis by Thereza Carvalho. The distance from the rich and the poor to the center. Okay, average residential distances. The rich, 4.9 kilometers. The poor, 25.8 kilometers. Now, I'm going to show you the extreme points of this spectrum. First, the South Lake, which is the richest borough in the city. This is it. Big houses in big plots by the lake shore. Some of them occupy 10,000 square meters plots by the lake. 1 hectare. It's not a mistake. Okay, and well, these are the big houses, just for you to have a glimpse of it. And what we have here concerning income stratification is this. Okay, 80% rich and the rest. Now, I'll show you the poorest borough in Brasilia, which is not quite far from the center because other aspects intervene. It's something like 5 kilometers from the center, not 45 or 60 kilometers as the farthest satellite boroughs. Okay, this is the situation. This is the total death of public space. This is it. Violence, extreme poverty, extreme violence, traffic, you name it. Okay, and this is what we have. The 3 upper layers sort of disappear, and what we have is just this: almost 70% poor and middle inferior strata. Now, density versus mortality. I dealt with, of course, again, this is a highly exploratory, doesn't have the ambition, the right ambition of the study Vinicius was showing us. But I had the audacity to compare some Brazilian situations, the capitals, namely, and to deal with things such as density and mortality. Okay, Vinicius is right, it's 70%. But consider that Copacabana is 6.5 times denser than Rio, but mortality in the borough is 1.4 higher. Okay, this is we have to consider this. Yes, there is a problem of density, but The problem is on a much lower scale, is in square meters of domestic space per inhabitant, as I expect to show you further on. Now, configuration. Brasilia is the anti-city. Okay, we have we have 5 Brazilian cities, as we know them: denser, continuous, varied, with mixed uses, all that, but with much higher mortality rates than Brasilia. Sorry, Brasilia has higher mortality rates than these cities. Okay, Brasilia, the anti-city, which is the sort of recipe for preventing the virus to spread, is the champion among these 6 less cities. Okay, now here you have the boroughs we have considered. In local jargon, we have satellite cities. They're not cities, okay? And I don't call them satellite cities, I call them boroughs, satellite boroughs. And here you have the number of cases in these boroughs. Now, this is very telling. The virus disembarks in the richest region, the first one I show you, okay, South Lake. This is it in April 30, last year, okay? The South Lake, which is the richest part of the city, the richest borough, is here. First place. Now, in July, it's already the last one, okay? And the difference only grows from then onwards. You see here the sample of boroughs, okay, from the richest to the poorest. This is the poorest one, estrutural, and this is the changing spectrum of the spread of the virus. Now, I got the this is another one, mortality in Brasilia, with 3 boroughs: the richest, the biggest, and the most intense mortality ratio, which is actually my borough in Brasilia. So we have to be extra careful in Brasilia. Now, see again how the thing changes. Okay, the peripheric Sobradinho and poor borough is enlarging the difference between the other ones. Now, have a look at this. The lethality now, which is what matters most actually. How probable is for you to die if you get the virus? This is lethality. Okay. Now you have 1 in the South Lake, the richest city, compared to 2.5 in Ceilândia, which is poor, and the middle one here, okay, which I show in this slide. So see how it varies according to a series of factors, which I'm going to show now. Lethality versus distance from center. It's highly correlated. Okay, it's almost 0.6, so 60%. According to the more you go far away, the more you die from COVID. And now income lethality normalized concerning again a sample of boroughs. Okay, it's 0.96%. So income is absolutely fundamental to show how people die when they get COVID. And finally, this table shows you some of those I have considered the most important correlations. And it brings to the fore the problem of race as well. Race and segregation, okay? Here you have some relations between race and built area, which is extremely important, which is extremely high. I mean, black and brown people live in much poorer conditions as far as built space is concerned. Here again you have a problem of race. distance to the center. You see how blacks and whites are distributed according to the distance of the center. And we saw how distance is important in the lethality. And most important of all, in these correlations is this here, lethality and HDI, which is Human Development Index by United Nations. Okay, so it's extremely high. So it's a bunch, a cluster of indexes, of variables which are important to explain. And well, here again I show the lethality, distance to center, and lethality versus built area per people, per inhabitant. You see how high it is. It's 61%. So and in my sample, I would like to call you the attention to this density versus mortality. Nil, zero. You see, and my argument is that I'm dealing with a much more fine-tuned approach concerning the spread of people and the spread of the virus in the city. And because of this, I think we have a more clear and a more truthful, if I may say so, approach to the spread of the virus. This is it, 1 minute before my deadline. Thank you so much.